Today, we're going to take a deeper dive into understanding the psychological barriers of learning to swim as an adult. If you've had students or you are a person who identifies with having trauma from the past that's influencing your swimming, you're a person who does identify as fearful, maybe because of something that's happened in the past, then this is a video that you want to watch. If you've ever had students who you know there's something from their past that's preventing them moving into the future, then this is the video for you today. We're going to go into some ways to really help ourselves and help our students to move beyond those past things and grow into their dreams and what they really desire, and have a belief that it's possible for them, or you wouldn't be here as a student or as a teacher if you didn't have some inkling of possibility that swimming could be the thing for you. All right, I have 3 different areas for us to look at today of really how to help ourselves and help students overcome past trauma. The first one is something that almost everybody universally knows, but I think it's really important to say, especially swimming lessons. Oftentimes they're 30 minutes, they're fast, you're one and done, like in and out. Maybe you get 45 minutes and there's this pressure and this rush. This is why in our classes, we have a significant amount of time where we are talking. Not me talking like I am on the videos, but the students are talking and I am listening. It's so important to listen to their stories. Our online students write their stories and I read them. They don't just go to Never Never Land. They are read. They are listened to. It's so important to be listened to. One of the very effective things that we can do when we're listening to people is then to repeat back to them parts of their own story in their words, not paraphrasing it, not summarizing it, but really seeking to repeat back their own words. I heard you say, whatever you heard them say, some piece of it. This might be a technique that, lots of people, this isn't new under the sun, but what happens when we hear back what we have just said, it actually comes into our system a little differently. And so the person who's telling the story might hear it and be like, yes, that is how I have the narration. That is what I recall. Or actually, that's not quite it. And they change it a little bit. It gives them a chance to develop it. And so it gives an experience of relating to the story, not just telling the story. So we're giving our students a chance to relate to their own story, to know that they're being deeply listened to, and to explore that story in a new way. The second thing that we can do is start to separate facts from meaning or interpretation of the facts. Now, what is a fact that we can pull out of the story? And the reason we pull out facts of a story and start to have a difference between facts and what we make the facts mean is because facts are very concrete, but the story that we say about it, the way that we interpret the facts, is what really affects how we feel about it and affects what we do into the future. So the fact of the matter is, somebody got water in their nose. This is a common thing that happens in these past stories, that water went in the nose. That might be very factual, right? What we made that mean, that is open to interpretation. As a lot of us who are very proficient teachers and swimmers, I'm very proficient. I get water in my nose sometimes, but I never make it mean something about me not being a good swimmer or not knowing what to do, or that there's something terribly going wrong. That's just not the way that I interpret that information. Now, I don't want to try and force somebody to make my interpretation of what the fact of water going in the nose means. They get to have their own meaning about it. But just having that idea that water in the nose doesn't 100% mean, in this case, we'll just call it negative. We'll identify it as negative. Just starting to bring some curiosity of, oh, so you got water in your nose and it meant that you didn't have air, or it meant that you were drowning. Okay, I see. This is the reflective listening that's coming back. Is that how your story goes? And so people just get, oh, it's this process of starting to get a little bit of separation from that past event, to have a kind of 10,000 foot curious view on it. The last thing, once we've listened, understood the meaning and the facts of the story, we don't want to have ourselves just be left with this probably negative story. We want to see, okay, what piece of that is both truthful and going to help me move forward? Because if we leave our story as saying, things were out of control and I almost died and everything was terrible and wrong about it, and I never ever want that exact thing to happen again, nothing good came out from it, it doesn't leave us in a very empowered state. Now, it could be the thing that we move forward with is, and I survived. If they're telling you the story, if you are telling your story of something traumatic in the past, maybe the only good thing that you can say out of it to help you move forward is, and I survived. That's true, right? We want it to be believable. Whatever it was that did happen, and you survived. So your student possesses something, even if it required outside resources, even if it meant going through something really terrible, and you survived. There was something there that you were able to stay with that thread, which that is a more confident place of when you go to do something new again, to go in with the narrative that says, I'm a survivor. Now, it could be something more than that. Like, I have one student, she has a whole dramatic story about jumping off of a boat and just thinking she was going to die and seeing her whole life flash before her eyes, thinking about her poor mother and children who were going to be grieving and all this kind of thing. And we got to the place, our first round of this story is really, okay, and you survived. Not only did she survived with enough ability to say, and I'm still curious, I'm still a little bit hopeful here that I can learn, I can move forward from this. These are good little threads to help us move forward in our learning. We also then were able to instill the belief, because in this particular story, she put a life jacket on. She had a life jacket on. So we also knew from her story that she does things to keep herself safe. And now, it could have been somebody else told her to put it on, they insisted, or whatever it was, but she was an adult who could have really refused it. But she decided she did things to keep herself safe. She knows what to do to keep herself safe. She never talked about that part of the story. And so it shifted the story ever so slightly to be truthful and to help her move forward. We need these little bits of adjustments to the story to lean into creating your next story of success. This is where I always say we start with the feeling of confidence. Calm confidence is something we come in with. It's not a product of us acquiring the skills. So we needed to shift her story just enough to have the confidence of, oh, right, I do keep myself safe, or I did survive. I am a survivor. This feels better, has more confidence to go into the next thing. Unpacking past trauma is not a one and done thing. It's not a simple give you 3 steps and voila, it's done. It's something that we all need to cultivate, us who are overcoming traumas and us who are walking alongside other people who are overcoming traumas. If you want help with this, either as a companion to somebody who's doing this, or you yourself would like to go through this, let me know. I am here to help you one step at a time. Aloha.